The year is 1775. A fledgling nation, clinging to hope and defiance, takes its first shaky breaths on the brink of a tumultuous revolution. Against the mighty British Empire, a force seemingly invincible, rises a ragtag assembly of farmers, shopkeepers, and ordinary citizens, the Continental Army. This is their story, a testament to their unwavering courage, their enduring spirit, and the sacrifices they made in the face of insurmountable odds. This is the story of the Continental Army, the force that dared to challenge an empire and, against all odds, won a nation's freedom. The American Revolution was not merely a war fought on distant battlefields. Instead, it was a fiery test of resolve, where the very soul of a nation hung in the balance. And at the heart of this maelstrom stood the Continental Army, an embodiment of the nascent nation's determination to break free from the shackles of tyranny. These were not seasoned soldiers, hardened by years of warfare. They were ordinary men driven by an extraordinary belief in the ideals of liberty and self-determination. They were farmers who traded their plows for muskets, shopkeepers who exchanged their ledgers for powder horns, and teachers who swapped their quills for bayonets. United by a common cause, they stood shoulder to shoulder, ready to lay down their lives for the dream of a free and independent nation. The story of the Continental Army is not one of glorious victories and triumphant marches. It is a story of hardship, of resilience, of unwavering courage in the face of adversity. It is a story etched in the blood and sacrifice of those who dared to dream of a different future, a future where liberty and self-governance would reign supreme.
Have you ever wondered why we know so little about something as crucial as the American Constitution? Hi, I'm Casey, and I'm about to take you on a journey that will change all of that. At InspiredAmericaHQ.com, I've written articles that will bring back to life the extraordinary individuals who sparked the American Revolution. These aren't just dry historical facts. They tell stories of courage, conviction, and the relentless pursuit of freedom. As you watch this video, you're going to see thumbnails of my deep dive researched articles. Each one peels back a layer of history, revealing the events and personalities that shaped the Constitution as we know it today. From the tyrannical rule of King George III to the birth of a new nation, every article at InspiredAmericaHQ.com is a piece of the puzzle. Together, they paint a vivid picture of how American Constitution came to be. Ready to discover the untold stories behind the American fight for freedom? Visit InspiredAmericaHQ.com and be prepared to be inspired.
The Continental Army, born in the fires of revolution, was a force unlike any other. Assembled hastily in the summer of 1775, it was a diverse mix of men from all walks of life, bound together by their shared ideals and their determination to resist British rule. Farmers, artisans, merchants, and laborers, they came from every corner of the 13 colonies, leaving behind their homes and families to answer the call of liberty. These men were not soldiers by profession. They were citizens, driven by a fervent belief in the right to self-governance, compelled to take up arms against an empire that sought to deny them their fundamental freedoms. Driven by a potent mix of patriotism and outrage, they flocked to join the ranks of the Continental Army, their hearts filled with both hope and trepidation. The challenges facing this nascent army were immense. Short of supplies, lacking in training, and plagued by logistical nightmares, they were ill prepared to face the might of the British military machine. Their weapons were often antiquated, their uniforms ragged, and their discipline at times questionable. Yet what they lacked in experience and resources, They made up for in sheer determination and unwavering belief in their cause. These were ordinary men called upon to perform extraordinary feats, united by their shared ideals and their unwavering commitment to liberty. They embarked on a perilous journey, their hearts set on securing a future free from the yoke of oppression. The road ahead would be long and arduous, paved with sacrifices and soaked in blood, but the spirit of defiance burned brightly within them, fueling their resolve to fight for their freedom, no matter the cost. The early years of the war were a harsh lesson in the realities of armed conflict. The Continental Army, outmatched and outmaneuvered, tasted defeat more often than victory. The British Army, a seasoned and well-equipped fighting force, seemed invincible. Their ranks were filled with professional soldiers, their arsenals overflowing with modern weaponry. The fledgling Continental Army, by contrast, was plagued by shortages of everything from food and clothing to gunpowder and cannons. The Battle of Long Island in August 1776, a crushing defeat for the Continental Army, exposed the stark disparity between the two forces. Outnumbered and outgunned, the Americans fought bravely, but were forced to retreat under heavy fire. New York City fell soon after, dealing a severe blow to American morale. The defeats continued. Fort Washington, Fort Lee, and other strategic locations fell into British hands. The Continental Army, battered and demoralized, seemed on the verge of collapse. Desertion rates soared, and many began to doubt the viability of American independence. But even in the darkest of hours, the flicker of rebellion refused to be extinguished. The spirit of defiance, though tested, remained unbroken. The Continental Army might have been bloodied, but it was far from defeated. The dream of liberty, once ignited, burned too brightly to be extinguished. Section 4. Winter's Grasp, Valley Forge, and the Price of Freedom. The winter of 1777 to 1778 was a time of unimaginable hardship for the Continental Army. Encamped at Valley Forge, Pennsylvania, the soldiers faced not only the bitter cold and relentless snow, but also the crippling realities of war, starvation, disease, and despair. Valley Forge was a stark reminder of the brutal cost of freedom. The camp, a desolate expanse of frozen ground and makeshift shelters, became a symbol of the Army's suffering. Food was scarce, with soldiers often going days without a proper meal. Clothing was threadbare, offering little protection against the biting wind and freezing temperatures. Disease, its icy grip, tightening with each passing day, ravaged the camp. Smallpox, dysentery, and typhus spread like wildfire, claiming the lives of countless soldiers. The few doctors present were overwhelmed, their meager supplies inadequate to combat the onslaught of sickness. Yet, even in the face of such unimaginable suffering, the spirit of the Continental Army refused to be broken. These were men who had stared death in the face and emerged with their resolve unshaken. They endured the hardships with stoic determination, their belief in their cause a flickering flame that refused to be extinguished. Valley Forge, a place of immense suffering, became a crucible where the Continental Army was tested and tempered. It was here, in the depths of their despair, that they found the strength to endure, to persevere, and to emerge from the ordeal, not broken but reforged, ready to face the challenge that lay ahead. Section 5. Prussian discipline, American spirit, the forge of a new army. As the brutal winter began to loosen its grip on Valley Forge, a glimmer of hope arrived in the form of Baron Friedrich Wilhelm von Steuben, a seasoned Prussian military officer. Tasked with instilling discipline and order into the ragtag Continental Army, von Steuben embarked on a mission to transform these citizen soldiers into a formidable fighting force. Recognizing the inherent courage and determination of the American soldiers, von Steuben implemented a rigorous training regimen emphasizing drill, discipline, and tactical maneuvers. He drilled the soldiers relentlessly, instilling in them the importance of precision, coordination, and obedience to orders. He taught them the intricacies of musketry, bayonet combat, and battlefield formations, transforming them from a disorganized militia into a disciplined fighting unit. Von Steuben's impact extended beyond tactical training. He understood that the strength of the Continental Army lay not just in its military prowess, but also in the spirit of its soldiers. He fostered a sense of unity and camaraderie, emphasizing that they were fighting not just for their own liberty, but for the freedom of a nation. Under von Steuben's tutelage, the Continental Army underwent a remarkable transformation. The ragtag group that had stumbled into Valley Forge emerged as a disciplined and motivated fighting force, ready to face the British on a more equal footing. The seeds of a professional army, sown in the harsh winter of Valley Forge, began to take root, nurtured by the spirit of the American Revolution and the guidance of a Prussian master of war.